What are your name and pronouns?
My name is Rika Readman. I use she, her. I also go by Erika, Yurika, and sometimes in different circles, Fizzy Cups.
Can you tell me a bit about your VTuber model or persona?
So, my VTuber persona is a calico librarian, right? I previously was a calico cat office lady VTuber, and then I redesigned my model, more elf-like now, and I based it on I made my VTuber persona an office lady because that's what I do in real life, right? That is my actual real life job, and it sucks. So my dream job as a person is being a librarian. So I updated my model to match that, right? To dress for the job you want.
Hey, I mean, that's the way to go, right?
Yeah. As far as like the design goes, I like calico cats. But also like it's very red, black, yellow. It's loosely based on because I'm half Mexican, half Native American. So I basically drew the colors from those like cultures. Like those cultures are very, very hot colored, right? A lot of the like not branding, like a lot of the like symbolism, especially in Native American culture, is like red, yellow, white, black. I'm sure you may have seen like the medicine circle. That's literally just those 4 colors. Yeah, exactly. So
I got you. How do you identify?
I identify as complicated, not necessarily complicated. I said I'm Native American. I identify as Two-Spirit. In more common language, probably just transgender woman. But my gender identity is very, very rooted in the culture I come from. It's slightly different from how I think most trans people like see themselves and express themselves. I could go on a whole rant about like the cultural significance of being transgender, but basically Two-Spirit / transgender woman.
How did you ensure that your model represented you and your identity?
That's a tough question. How did I ensure? So I'm not good at drawing or like any kind of graphical art, right? Like I was an English major. I wanted to be a librarian. I'm an office lady. I work with Microsoft Word. I'm only good with words. So I basically just like I wrote up a description of like a character I wanted. And I wanted this character to be similar to me, right? That's why my character, has brown skin, similar to me. Not like super voluptuous or anything. A little bit on the slightly thicker side. I just was I'm generally a very modest person, and I wanted that to reflect in my VTuber model. And I also wanted it to be obvious at a glance that I'm, like Latino or Native American, some kind of, racial ethnic minority. And obviously that's something that's been refined with over time. Like I said, I had an original design that I then updated later there's 2 or 3 artists that I really trust to do that with. I have a lot of loyalty to them. They've done a really good job of bringing this character to life because at the core of it, this character is just me, but like anime-fied with a tiny bit of fantasy thrown in there. It also is that I came up with my VTuber design when I first came out as trans, like came out publicly as trans. So it was kind of not just supposed to be a representation of me, but like a representation of what I ideally would want to be, right? Want to look like, sans the cat ears or elf ears or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's the bonus, right?
Yeah, that's the I gotta add something in to hit some demographics,
Yeah, of course. What drew you into VTubing, and do you find it rewarding?
So the thing that first drew me into it is I think I saw a meme, like is it a Vine or something? I don't even know if Vines are out, but I saw a short clip of Kizuna Ai, you know, and I just thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I thought it was really cool. Like they just have this like 3D anime girl. They obviously have someone like voice acting for her, but like it's really cool. They have this little avatar like doing stuff, and it's cute and funny. And I started to see like more people come out with like VTuber avatars. This was like around the time towards the start of like Hollow Live and stuff too. And so I saw some friends like getting into it, and it was just like, this would be really cool. And like I said, like I made my character design and I commissioned my model like around the same time that I publicly came out as trans, and it just was like a really good way to ease into presenting that way, right? Especially because, you know, when you first come out and you first start openly being trans, you're just like, I haven't practiced any, I don't know how to do makeup, I don't know how to like be comfortable with how I look. I previously did do streaming here and there. I have a history as a competitive fighting game player. I've done that since 2011, and part of that is streaming. And so it was just the closer I got to being more comfortable with the idea that I am trans, the less comfortable I got with the idea of being on a camera. So
I feel that one.
So it just kind of became the like, well, here's an option. And it did pay off, right? Like I would stream like once a month maybe before, and now I'm streaming like 4 to 5 times a week. So
yeah, that actually is pretty similar for me as well. So I get that, because like originally I was like, I gotta do all this makeup to make myself look presentable for stream, and then I stopped streaming altogether because I was doing it like maybe once a month, kind of like you know. And then I started VTubing, and it was like, okay, well I can stream more often now. Now it's not as much of a hassle, apart from the usual setup, of course.
Yeah, 100%. The biggest thing for me was, you know, like because of my like, what is it? Fast growing body hair runs in my family bloodline. So it would often be like, I'm gonna stream tonight, and then I finish my work shift. I look in the mirror, and it's like, oh, that's some 5 o'clock shadow. Let's not stream tonight. I don't want to be on camera.
Yep, I used to have to shave too. I was like, you know what? I should shave right now, huh? I gotta shave, then do the makeup, then I can get on stream. Exactly. Forget what I'm actually doing on stream.
Yeah, 100%. But it just like the VTubing thing just felt like the perfect, like it was the perfect timing. It was popular at the time, and it just was the perfect like perfect method of dealing with, I guess, what you'd call dysphoria.
You find it pretty rewarding so far, then, right?
Yeah, pretty rewarding. Not even just because of it's helped me figure out how I want to present like in real life a little more, but just, you know, like not only have I met a lot of new people, I ended up becoming really closer friends with people I never thought I would have. Like I said, I come from the competitive fighting game scene. There's a lot of people in that community who leaned into VTubing, and I don't think I ever would have like become friends with those people, like closer friends with those people, if we all hadn't like picked up VTubing. So pretty rewarding.
Could you share some of the highs and lows of your journey being transgender or gender nonconforming in the VTubing space?
Some of the highs have just been kind of like looking and seeing the niche I've carved out for myself. Especially, like, I keep referencing the fighting game background, but it's, like I said, 12 years. It's a big part of my life. That community is largely cis people. So not only is it like I'm carving out like a space for myself as a trans competitor and content creator in that space. But also I'm also helping in the VTubing space by, there's like a sub community within the VTuber community of VTuber fighting game players and enjoyers.
This is news to me.
It's a whole thing. I actually met my girlfriend through the overlap of VTubing and fighting games. She runs tournaments for VTubers that are exclusive to VTubers every other weekend. But it's just the high is probably just looking at the space I've created. So like I have a Discord server, or just like the people who come into my stream, or the people who like interact with me on social media, who are just like, yeah, it's cool that you're trans. I'm comfortable being queer around you, Rika. And also like, because the fighting game community isn't, it's fairly queer these days, but like it wasn't always that way. And helping ease queer people in that community into like a space where they can express their enjoyment and love for fighting games has also been really rewarding. And also just like it's probably, how do I say this? Another rewarding thing is that I think a lot of queer spaces in, oriented around like America are very, very Caucasian, like not dominated, like largely Caucasian. So it has also been really nice to be very outwardly and loudly brown, Mexican, Native American. And I feel very good when I see that like people of various like racial minorities like are a lot like very comfortable like being themselves around me, right? Like it's something I'll talk about on my streams a lot, is like the experience, being Mexican in I used to live in Arizona, a state that borders Mexico, which means it's a very conservative state, which means it was tough being trans there, and also living so close to the border as a Mexican. And I learned, I think I just like, I kind of had to learn like as I lived there and as I grew up there, just kind of like how to be myself despite, the environment I'm in. Now I live on the East Coast, and it's a lot more friendly towards trans people here. So
yeah, I live on the East Coast as well, so I get it. I do. I used to live in the Midwest, so similar experience.
Yeah. So you understand.
Yeah.
But like living in a state that borders Mexico, we definitely got the brunt of the whole 2016 to 2020, like we're gonna build the wall and they're gonna pay for it era, and the xenophobia, and like just those kind of like social things are something that I talk about a lot on my streams, and I think that's what contributes to a lot of people of various backgrounds, like being comfortable talking about their experiences, right? And it's not even just like Americans in my audience too. Like I've got a lot of like Canadians, some like Europeans, some Australians, some Southeast Asian people who talk, and just like some people who like don't know what it's like in America, and then some people who are just like, yeah, America's kind of weird for that, But that's been, I think, the highest high of being in this like VTuber space and being a content creator here, is just giving people of various backgrounds like that, who don't really feel super comfortable expressing like their cultural stuff as much, or talking about like the challenges they face because of their cultural stuff, like giving them a space to openly talk about that and just like honestly like share our experiences, positive and negative. Yeah.
Has VTubing helped you discover more about yourself?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's very much, I've always been a person who's very much a realist. I won't say a pessimist, but like I never really like set my sights super high on stuff. I always have like keep low expectations. And through VTubing, like it feels like you just are given a blank canvas to express yourself and just like be whoever you want to try being. Put on a different mask every other day and see if it fits well, right?
Yeah, that basically is what it is in VTubing, yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely discovered a lot through that, right? Like when I initially started, I was doing nothing but fighting game stuff, and then I recently discovered a love for like Souls-like games, which I never expected.
Hey, Souls-like are pretty fun.
They are. I just finished Lies of P, and I need to finish Elden Ring, but
I'm starting Elden Ring. It just keeps crashing on me.
Oh no! Oh yeah, actually,
yeah.
I actually couldn't stream it because it plus VTube Studio just like it destroyed my computer.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know how to figure it out. It's annoying.
But I like recently like started diving more into like visual novels. That was kind of more to fit into this librarian theme, but I just it's ended up sticking. Other like there's always those like trendy games every other month, like Among Us, Lethal Company, what's the latest one? Content Warning.
Content Warning's been pretty good as far as I've heard. Supermarket Simulator.
Yeah, like anything social with a bunch of people. I've never been. I'm slightly introverted. Like I work an office job and I know how to act professional and talk to people, talk business with people. But like in my personal life, I've never been super social. So like that's another thing I'm discovering about myself is like I do like talking to people a lot. Maybe not as introverted as I thought.
Yeah, same here. Thought I was pretty introverted myself before I started VTubing, and turns out I'm a bit of a yapper, I yap a lot.
Yeah, exactly. We're yapping. It comes with the business.
What would you say to somebody who was looking at VTubing as an option to being their truest self on stream?
What would I say to somebody like that?
Yeah, let's say somebody was like, looking into VTubing to, kind of better fit their identity,
I would say absolutely temper your expectations. I have seen way too many people who go into this and they either dump in a lot of money and like stress and obsess about like, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to follow all the culture rules, we got to fit in and have this persona. And I've also seen people who are just like, I gotta have good numbers, I gotta obsess, and I gotta have double digits viewers every stream or I'm failing. I gotta get 1,000 followers, It's like, ultimately at the end of the day, it's a hobby. Streaming, not even just VTubing, streaming in general is way too volatile to ever have as a reliable quote unquote job. I mean, there are people who can pull it off and there are people who can do it, but it's at the end of the day, very volatile. I think there's a lot of luck involved with just being seen. And I don't think it's good to go into this kind of thing with like an expectation that you're going to like blow up and be the next Hololive or whatever VTuber, right? Ultimately, I look at it as like a hobby and maybe like a self-reflective type of thing, right? Like you are presenting yourself when you're streaming, when you're VTubing, and just don't push yourself beyond your comfort zone or your own limits for the sake of anything. Just be your authentic self and don't be afraid to be like, I've done enough here. I'm just going to keep going at this pace, right? That's the number one thing I would say to people who want to look at VTubing.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we end the video? Anything you wanted to add to your end?
How to say? Is there anything I want to add? Support your local libraries. They're great. Go read some books. Don't spend all day playing video games and watching VTubers.
You're talking to a bunch of VTuber fans here.
Yeah, go read a book.
Go read a book. Get off your TV or your internet or whatever.
Exactly. Oh, you can. There's also like apps for that, right? Go get a library card so you can go log on to Libby and read a book online. There.
Yeah, perfect.